to explain the posting to the debtors ledger. I do realize that most of you have done this already, just a step-by-step guide for those of you who had a problem understanding the printed notes. So listen carefully and follow my notes, and let's see if this won't help you. Some background information. A business that sells goods on credit must keep very accurate records of those credit sales and also from the payments received from the debtors. Remember, if you do not keep very accurate track of what you sell on credit and who you sell to, how will you remember who owes you money, how much that person owes you, or if he paid his account or did not pay his account? Remember, in real life, people don't pay accounts if they don't get a notification or an account that they owe money. So what do? We have to record our credit sales and also the payments we receive from debtors in that debtor's own account. You cannot record all credit sales in one debtor's account, because how do you know, how will the individual debtors know how much they owe us? These accounts are done in a book called the debtors ledger. Now, the format of the debtors ledger. Debtors ledger belongs to a certain business. So if you have to do a debtors ledger, you need to write the name of that business in here. So if you do the debtors ledger of ABC Traders, you will write ABC Traders. Then in that ledger, you will have an account for each of your debtors. I have an account for Joe Soap, but if your debtor's name is John Smith, then you will have an account for John Smith. What is important is that every account must have its own number. In the school system, we use D for debtors, and this is debtor number 1. The format of the page itself, you obviously must have a column for date. Date is divided into first the year, then the month, and then the day. In the details column or document number column, you need to write in such a way so that your debtor understands what you are writing. So this account rendered is actually fancy words for the balance that he owes us. So on the 1st of May, debtor Joe Soap owes us 500 Rand. The debit column is the plus column in the debtors ledger. Remember, debtors are assets, and an asset increases on the debit side. In a ledger account, debtors ledger account, you do not have sides. You have columns. So the debit column is the plus column, and then obviously the credit column will be the minus column. So this debtor, Mr. Soap, on the 1st of May owes us 500 Rand. Remember, not balance. The correct accounting term here is account rendered. The best way to explain this is by doing the entries. So in the debtors journal, we write when we sell on credit. Invoice 36 in the debtors journal on the 5th of May tells us that debtor Joe Soap bought for 850 Rand. So obviously this transaction must be recorded in his account. So how do we do this? In the debtors ledger account of Joe Soap on the 5th, invoice 56, there we get the information from. Where do we see this? We saw this in DJ4. So in your folio column, DJ4. Debtors journal, we sold on him, which means he owes more money. Debit column is the plus column, so you will write in the debit column. What is the new balance? How do I get the new balance? It will be the 500 that he owed previously plus the 850, because remember, when he buys, he owes us more money, and that gives you the new balance of 1,350. The second transaction that we have with a debtor is that the debtor pays his account. When the debtor pays his account, you will write in the CRJ. Entry in the CRJ is receipt number 56. Remember, because when the debtor pays, he would like a receipt as proof of that payment. In analysis of receipts, bank and in debtors control. This entry must now be posted to the from the CRJ to the debtors ledger. Debtor J. So on the 15th, there's the 15th. So we're going to write in his account on the 15th. Receipt number 56. Receipt number 56 is where we find our information. We saw this in CRJ4. So in the folio column, we will write CRJ4. He pays his account. That means he owes us less money. So in the credit column, you're going to write the 710 Rand. What is the new balance? It was the previous balance of 1,350 minus the 710 Rand. Your answer in the balance column. So when we sell, he owes more, you write in the debit column. When he pays his account and he owes less, you write in the credit column. Balance you calculate after each individual transaction. It is important to remember that all debtors must have their own accounts. That's really important. And then secondly, at the end of the month, we have to prepare a list with all our debtors and the balances in their accounts. So the debtors list must be prepared at the end of the month. That list consists of the names of your debtors and how much each of them owes. You need to total that list because the total of the debtors list, must agree with the balance of the debtors control account. So the total of the list must agree with the balance of the debtors control account. So this is how to prepare a debtors ledger account. I'm going to give you that additional exercise 1, that practice exercise 1 that you've already done the journals of. I'm going to supply an answer sheet where you can now do the debtors ledger accounts. I hope this helps you. Keep well and stay indoors and stay safe.